and gay. Welcome to Geeks and Gamers Daily. I love traveling back and forth between Orlando and Pensacola, Ryan. I love it. It's so nice to get from one setup to the other, and one works perfectly, the other one doesn't. How are you?
I'm good. Get that mic a little bit closer to your face.
Fuck,
But
god
yes,
damn it.
also when you wait to test the setup till 1 minute before we're supposed to go live, then you have to end up running things from Krista's house,
Yeah, it's
or from
fucking
Krista's room.
it's so fucking stupid. Well, everything was working last night. My roadcaster just would not connect to StreamYards. StreamYards is a piece of shit, by the way, just to be clear. It's a piece of shit that gets us by, but it is a dog shit platform. The better equipment you get, the worse it gets. So use a cheap webcam, use a cheap USB mic, and you'll be okay. God
You
damn.
specifically have problems. It doesn't matter what computer you use, you always have problems with StreamYard. One computer, it's on like sharing your screen. The other one, it's your microphone doesn't connect.
Yeah, but it's just because the higher, better equipment I've gotten over the years. Like I never had problems with anything when I had a cheap ass $75 webcam and a cheap ass USB mic. Never did, and a sorry ass computer. And now suddenly, the better equipment you get, the worse everything happens. So it is what it is. We're here, we're live, and I'm sorry for being late. It's 100% my fault this time. I didn't show up an hour and a half late like Nick Ricada did to tabletop, but good 10 minutes today. So I'll take the blame for it.
This entire setup looks so retarded with all this shit behind you, and the fact that you're taller than her, so like your fucking head's
I,
cut off
I
in
know.
it.
Here, I
Like
can
everything
probably
looks so stupid right now.
there. There. Is that better? Are we getting
Better,
there?
yeah.
All right.
That's
Or I
better.
can just go off cam and it'll look
Like
real
Krista.
legit. Beep. Hi, Ryan.
Do we still have the hold on. I think if we turn there you go. There's the display names. There's
Yeah,
Krista
there we go.
Nova. MCU fan's gonna get really confused in the chat when he sees this. He's not gonna know what to do.
Oh
But yes, we
man.
are here. It feels like a Monday. I thought
Hmm.
Jeremy would be more excited. It is Columbus Day after all. Maybe he thought he was gonna get Columbus Day off. That's why his mic wasn't ready to work.
Yeah.
Isn't it like someplace called like Indigenous Populations Day or some bullshit like that? It's always Columbus Day to me.
Something like that. Who really knows? Who
I don't
really
know.
knows?
Wasn't it?
No one's ever really gone. That's what I've learned.
Wasn't it Canadian Thanksgiving or something over the
Yes.
weekend? The
Yes.
fuck?
Yes.
What do they celebrate Thanksgiving
Why the fuck
for?
you asking me? I don't know.
You're in a Canadian's room
I
right
know,
now.
but I don't know these
You got a better
things.
idea than me, probably.
Probably not.
Did they
Especially,
also like sit down with Native Americans and like have dinner and have corn or some shit?
they
Whatever the
should.
story is.
They don't eat corn the long way. Not
They
like.
don't eat maize the long way.
Yeah, they sit around. They sit around and eat dinner and watch NFL football. That's what they do. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They probably watch hockey. To be fair, Bret Hart
Hockey?
should still be the prime minister of Canada. I stand
Hockey's
by
not
that.
going on right now though.
Yeah, I know. I know.
They're fucked.
There's probably some local hockey.
Maybe. Unknown for 199. Come give Aunt Jeremy some sugar. There you go.
Okay.
Tomac re-ups his channel membership. Thank you, Tomac. Teeny Bop, remember for 6 months. Good morning, fellas in chat. Thanks for the daily entertainment. I hope everyone has a great week.
Well, we hope you have a great week.
Cole Hauser for $10. What's up, Jeremy and Ryan? Have to say, I don't know what's worse, dog crap Ahsoka or the insane ramblings of Director X and his delusions of godhood. What a clown. 199. Yo, Joe. Praise Ara. Love you guys.
I'm just really happy Director X is a mega fan. The fact that he was upset that he didn't get a OG G&G intro from me says a lot. That was pretty funny.
My guess, my hypothesis when it comes to Director X is that he went to the channel and went to like most popular videos and like watched a couple. That's my guess
Yeah,
of
but
like why he
still,
had any idea about that. But yeah.
that doesn't tie into it that well though. Like for him to say it like that, it just sounded like he's been watching for a long time. So that's something that I haven't done that in a long time, really, consistently anyway.
Well,
It's
remember, he made a video when Josiah made a video for
but
Geeks
he
and
yeah,
Gamers.
but even then
And
I wasn't even doing it then. So like this
yeah,
was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I was doing that consistently. So that's
maybe
pretty
he's been
funny.
paying more attention to us than he has been to the writing of his actual show.
Yeah, it's and he just keeps going, dude. He just keeps going. It's so funny. He's getting ratioed so bad. He has no support at all. And this
It's
dude
kind
has
of wild.
250,000 followers on Instagram. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's got a following, or at least for whatever reason. Like the other day, you know what's funny about that is, I think Razor Fist tagged him, but John Cleese, he tagged John Cleese on Twitter. John Cleese has like 5.6 million followers on Twitter, and his interactions are in the hundreds. It makes no sense. I'm like, why does John Cleese have 5.6 million followers on Twitter?
Like, that's somebody who will, like, put out a tweet every once in a while that'll go viral because he'll just be like, "I'm tired of this woke bullshit in comedy."
Yeah,
And then people see it and they're like, "I'm gonna follow it. It's John Cleese," but
yeah,
they don't really care about too much he says on a daily
yeah.
basis. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think that's
Yep.
the way it is with a lot of the celebrities and shit.
Mhm. I'm sure
Uh,
a lot of them use bots too.
Andrew CR for CRC for 5,000. What did John Cleese really need bots? You know, like, does John
Well,
Cleese
what
care
I'm
enough to get
saying
bots on Twitter?
what I'm saying is, like, you have these companies that get involved with them, and they're like, "We're gonna bump your social media following up because it looks good, you know, and get you, you know, more relevance and all that shit." I'm saying it's a
I,
possibility is
I
all I'm
could buy
saying.
that for like for certainly some people. I don't know if that's John Cleese though. He probably I don't give a fuck about any of that. Like this guy's
I
like
agree.
fucking
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
Um yeah, yeah. Andrew CR for 5,000 CRC. Pitch idea for Epic Verse. Ukrainian Death Note. Zelensky finds a weird black book and uses it to take vengeance on the US for rewriting his coke snorting funds to Israel. Thank you, Andrew CR. Thunderstrike for 5. What's the argument here? NBA, WNBA? One is a sport, one is a joke. I love sports. I love jokes. Room for all. White Schrute. That's right. Tomac, 1492. Uh, here, I hear the people of the hat took care of their Indians a month early. Thank you, Tomac. 1492. I think that's when Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Bert, member for 18 months. Hi, Ryan. I've seen, let's see. I've not seen you on TNME in a while. Has the show become too melanated for you, which might interfere with you upgrading from white to red robes? Yeah, I'm not going to be on there every week anymore. We're kind of shifting that over to like more gaming focus. I actually do have a gaming story that's pretty funny today, Jeremy. Uh,
Nice.
but uh, I'll be there like once a month or something. But I just
Yeah,
got so much other shit going on in
you
between
guys
this
see.
daily stream, and I do run an entire other channel called Sports Wars for Geeks and Gamers, which actually puts out content. So
Yeah, I mean, I just looked at it and I was like, I asked Ryan, I was like, if you were to not be on main event, could you step up a couple other areas? And he said 100%. And so, yeah, we had just, dude, Ryan runs his own channel, Sports Wars, and then he's constantly getting daily running, and then all the other stuff behind the scenes that he's doing for G&G. So yeah, it's just balancing out all of it. That's all.
yeah,
I saw
and
people going, he got rid of Ryan, didn't? What are you talking? Ryan's on the channel
right.
more than me.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I'm on the like. That's funny. They're like, oh, there's something going on with Jeremy and Ryan. Ryan's on FNT and Jeremy's not. It's like I stream more with Jeremy now than I ever have before because fucking Geeks and Gamers daily. But that's all right. Um, Bert, I just said that one. Ginger Beard, member for 6 months. Happy Colonizer Day. That's right. Freddie York, member for 4 months. Hail all. Hail. Weird Man's Productions, member for a month. Finally cold in Indy this weekend. Got to wear new Cobra Cast. Don't tread on me hoodie. Probably one of the most comfortable hoodies of all time.
Hell yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, I was just telling somebody the other day, I wanted summer to fucking end in Florida. I feel like there's really 2 seasons here. It's summer and spring. I don't feel like there's really a fall or a winter. It just kind of like I don't feel like it gets cold enough to define it as fucking fall or winter.
It,
It's just not hot as balls out, which I'm looking forward to.
it gets kind of chilly in like December, December and January. It gets kind of chilly. Nothing like what you're used to, but you know,
Thunderstrike. I said that one. I said that one. I said that one. All right. I think we're all caught up. Jeremy, we have to talk about what's going on at Disney right
Well,
now
hang on.
because
Somebody said something in the chat. I gotta address Ryan. Paul Schlock says, rumor has it that Ryan has been removed from Tuesday night's main event and is being replaced by George Lucas. I didn't want this news to get out.
I thought you were going to say a different George there for a second.
I didn't want this news to get out, but yeah, George Lucas is actually coming back to take over Tuesday night's main event so that he can head up the anti-Disney narrative that we're going to be running every single Tuesday now. And he actually banned Ryan from Tuesday night's main event, just like the Kathleen Kennedy was banned from the set of The Mandalorian and all Star Wars production. Ryan's been banned from Tuesday night's main event by George Lucas. That was in his contract.
I mean, listen, George Lucas is really upset because he had this whole secret plan that Dave Filoni was going to take over, and Dave Filoni was going to release the Rise of Skywalker cut that he personally directed, and all of these things. So I fucked it up by talking shit about Dave Filoni. That really is what happened. So unfortunately, the secret Civil War didn't come to fruition. So George is very upset. One of his last acts was to take me off Tuesday night's main event.
So we have a new editor at G&G, and I'll be revealing who that is very soon. But Ryan, I got to show you his edit he made me, and he randomly worked in a comment from Nancy Pelosi said, "We love George Floyd," and she's wearing a mask. It's just so random.
What?
Yes. Oh, it's so good. I'll have to show you.
Oh, I thought you meant you're about to show it now.
No. I was gonna
you're obviously not on your computer, so whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, I thought you were setting up to show it to us.
No, I'm gonna show you because she's just like, "We love George Floyd," and she's wearing a mask outside when she says it. It's so damn funny.
So I thought that's what you were about to.
I know. That's why I went
you
ahead.
Said Ryan's being replaced with George. What? What? Fucking Tuesday's main event getting real diverse. We need to talk about Disney because when Bob Iger took over Disney, ousted Bob Chapek, which really was his plan the entire time, people were wondering how that would work. And immediately the stock continued to fall and fall. And in January of this year, it looked like Disney and Bob Iger were going to be challenged by someone named Nelson Peltz. Nelson Peltz is an activist investor, even if he doesn't like to be called that. This is somebody who sees companies that are struggling, that are being run inefficiently, and he comes in, buys a lot of stock, tries to get his way on the board, and make changes at these companies. Usually, turns out really good for some of those companies, but not everybody survives. So back in January, we saw this, Nelson Peltz buying up stock, maybe even working with his friend, Ike Perlmutter, who has since been fired by Disney. But eventually, Nelson Peltz said, hey, look, Bob Iger's made all these changes. He's announced all these things. I think that Disney might be on their way to turning things around. So I'm giving up this battle, and we'll see what Bob Iger does with Disney. At that point, keep in mind, Disney stock had gone from $87 all the way up to $110. That's when Nelson Peltz said, hey, I'm giving this thing up. Since then, things have not gone very well. And all of a sudden, Bob Iger has a surprise. Nelson Peltz is back. He has about 6 times the amount of stock he had the first time, and he's now demanding multiple seats on the board, or else he is going to fight a proxy battle against Disney to make changes for this company. Activist investor Nelson Peltz eyes new push for Disney board seats after boosting stake. The investors fund Trian had abandoned a proxy battle in February after Bob Iger announced a turnaround plan, but is now asking for multiple board seats after the stock slumped. This purchase that he's made, he had about 6.4 million shares earlier this year. Now he has 30 million shares. That's good enough to be basically a top 5 in terms of shareholders. Look at this shit. Vanguard and BlackRock, the biggest shareholders in Disney, 141 billion, 75 billion. You got a funds management company right there. You got State Farm Management Company, Geo Capital Management. And then right after that is now Nelson Peltz and his Trian company with 30 million shares of Disney stock. This could be very bad news for Bob Iger because the changes that want to be made at this company might not have him in the plans for the future. But this is what happens when you run a company into the ground like this. And after they've shown that their changes didn't work, Nelson Peltz is back, demanding a seat at the table and wanting to make changes to the company, which would be good for shareholders, but might not be good for people like Bob Iger.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm a broken record at this point in time because we've been talking about this for years, and the weirdos out there, the people that the Disney adults that just think everything that Disney does is perfect, and it's like we have been telling you that they have been running this into the ground for years. And when there's one little success out there, they point to that, go, oh, this movie made money. This movie made money. Most of their movies haven't made money lately. What is the biggest hit from Disney? And I don't want to include Avatar in that, but like their direct stuff, whether it's Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, or their original Disney stuff that they've made. What is the biggest hit they've had in the last few years? I don't even
Um,
know. Is Guardians the biggest hit they've
Doctor
had?
Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
And
Um,
Guardians, right? Guardians
but
probably made more money, right? And they
well,
didn't
it
neither
it,
one
w-
make
it
much.
probably lost less money, but we won't know until the final numbers come out. Multiverse of Madness made 950 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable how far they've fallen. And it's in a video I was watching recently, and it was a comment from Ripa. This is on Tuesday Night's Main Event, and he was basically talking about years ago, you looked at how Disney was buying everything and they seemed invincible. And just a few years later, they can't even make a movie that makes a profit anymore, it seems like, and it's across the board. You can't continue doing this, and as I said several months ago, when the theme park started getting impacted, that was ground zero for Disney. When the theme park started to have any impact whatsoever, you know that they were in serious, serious shape. This can't go unchecked. It can't. And finally, Bob Iger's finally getting held accountable, it would seem. As still, it's going to take a while, I think, which is still kind of sad that it shouldn't take a while. I mean, this guy's been doing a bad job for a long time now. I know he's been with the company for a long time, but this is not good for them. It's not good for him. And at least it seems like we got people that are finally waking up to the reality that have some power to get in there and make some change or hold people accountable at the very least.
Yeah. So again, earlier this year, he kind of laid out the reasons. He thought Disney was being poorly managed. He wanted this company to get back to what they'd been doing before. They're a consumer-based company, and he thought the whole thing needed to be restructured. Bob Iger announced a bunch of restructuring things in the aftermath of that, but none of it's gone down the way he said it would. He certainly didn't cool things down with the state of Florida. They haven't silenced the noise in the culture war. None of the things that Bob Iger promised to do have actually happened. So Nelson Peltz is back with a lot more shares and a lot more weight to that. And who knows how Ike Perlmutter might be involved in this entire thing. They're supposedly good friends. But this doesn't happen if things are good for Disney. The reason that someone like Nelson Peltz thinks he might have some leverage is because he might be able to go to all these other shareholders that have been losing money, that have lost a shit ton of money, and leverage them to his side and say, hey, this is what I think we need to do. These are the changes we need to make to this company to make all of you investors more money, because Disney is being run like shit right now.
Mhm.
And that is the reality. That's why this is happening. That's why he's back, is because none of the promises that were made have had any effect on Disney. And they're now sitting there at their lowest stock price in a decade. And this is a company that's ripe for someone to come in and make changes. He's done this before with a lot of different companies, and the vast majority of them were left in a better state afterwards. Something like this might have to happen. Somebody to not just allow Bob Iger to do whatever he wants, not just allow activists of the company to do whatever they want, but instead do things that are good for all the shareholders, not just people like BlackRock and Vanguard. Getting seats on the board could help with that. But also, if it comes to it, a proxy battle, convincing all these other shareholders what might be best for the company, to change might be needed. Ultimately, that's the threat of what could happen.
The fans, once again, are right. They have been right. They're always going to be right. That's just the reality of it. And I'll go back to, I mean, these aren't complicated matters, even though they are complicated from a behind the scenes stuff. I mean, this is not easy stuff to do, to create, these movies and productions and all of that. But at the surface level, they already have all the infrastructure. They have everything. They have the budget, they have the people, they have the resources, they have it. They have the money to buy all these properties. And instead of just doing the simple thing, once you have all of that other stuff out of the way, they ruined it. Like again, Disney Star Wars. If Disney Star Wars is running like it should be, that's going to be a massive profit machine for you. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, already proven to be a massive success. What have they done to it since Endgame? They've ruined it. These things are hurting their bottom line, and they're not just hurting them in the movies. They're hurting them when people want to go to the theme parks or buy a movie or go to Disney Plus and stream things. Like it's a snowball effect, and it's finally catching up with them. And the fans were right once again, and that's the bottom line on it.
Yep. All right. See if I can find where the fuck we are. Here we go. Lost my spot. All right. Thank you guys for being here. We got 1,700 people on YouTube, and we got about 200 people watching us over on Rumble. We've had issues with Rumble notifications lately. My stream, same thing. Sports Wars, same thing. It's like the emails are getting sent out like 45 minutes late. I don't really understand why. Fix your shit, Rumble.
Yep.
Cole Hauser for 5. Yes, it's our Thanksgiving today. It's only preseason hockey now. Yes, watch NFL yesterday. And there are no natives in my area, all Asians. Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe.
There you go. Lord of the Re on Rumble. How kind of Gary to set up the stream for you guys. Finally got my Rumble channel set up under one account instead of having 2 different ones to sign in. Praise Ara and all hail the Snake Pit.
Hail.
The Polar J. Bowman for 2. Hail and happy Columbus Day. Now we are racist. LOL. The commentaries of a nerdy
PC. I see Clemson PC in the chat. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, what's up, Clemson? The commentaries of a nerdy night for 2. Hashtag let the mouse die. Bankrupt if you have to. Well, with this is somebody, who knows what the true motivation behind every single person are. And again, he's friends with Ike Perlmutter. Ike Perlmutter, not a big fan of things that have been happening at Disney. He got fired in the aftermath of the Nelson Peltz, failed kind of proxy takeover. So this is somebody that it looks like just wants to turn companies into profitable companies again, right? Goes in, sees things that are going wrong with companies across all aspects of industry and says, this is what we think you can do to change things. This is what we think you're doing wrong. And this is why we think you could turn this into something that's way more profitable for everybody involved. And then a couple years down the line, typically those things happen. That's definitely what Disney needs. Like this is 1,000% what Disney needs, to be honest with you. It's somebody to come in and change the way that they're doing business, because it's not just like there are problems. There are problems with Disney in terms of their push for identity politics and bullshit like this. But also when you just look at the way they're running this company, the amount of debt that they've rang up, the fact that they are about to have to pay a $10 billion plus tab for the last third of Hulu, and they really have no idea right now probably how they're going to pay that. These are all things that don't even have anything to do with identity politics and are just poorly run companies. So there's a lot of things that have gone wrong there, a lot of things that need to change.
Yeah, I will say though, I'm waiting for the article from, I don't know, the Wall Street Journal or Washington Post or CNN that profitable companies is a sign of the alt-right pipeline.
Making money is a sign of white supremacy.
Yeah, it's white supremacy, alt-right. That's what Disney's going for now. They're pandering to the alt-right by wanting to have a profitable company. That'll be the next headline right there.
Shad's bear muzzled and chained for 2. Any chance of having Fed more on TNME?
Fed Rudai? I don't know. We'll see. I don't like him that much, so I've had enough of him. I had 2 back-to-back tabletop
2 D&D streams. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost too much at this point. No, it's for real. Rudai's doing a great job over there. Ryan, it was Ryan's call for me to bring him on and create that channel, so I guess I got to give Ryan credit for it.
I will take all of the credit and none of the blame. That's my policy. Chris B for 2. Jeremy and Gary arguing on FNT is sorely missed.
I'm not gone from FNT. I'm just not there as much, but I'll be there. Don't worry.
That's what I try to tell people. They don't listen. Crimson Raptor member for 2 months. Happy Columbus Day. If you call it Indigenous Peoples Day, you're gay. Hail the 199. I agree. Gremlin Anku, member for 6 months. Legal Mindset had a great live stream on Disney today. Hey, there you go. Go check out Legal Mindset.
He's got great breakdowns on it.
He is a lawyer. So, Stephen Wasik for 10. Someone current date MCU fan. He's now a black Muslim who hates Krista. He's still making typos, calling Bob Iger Bob Igor. Boring. I think Jay's called him Bob Iger before.
It's Jay, of course he has.
I
That's not
imagine it was.
surprising at all.
Jeremy, did you hear about the Lord of the Rings Gollum game?
Yes, the chat apology.
Yeah, I just thought this was so fucking funny. Now, I did not play Lord of the Rings Gollum. I did not look very good from the moment like they debuted it to the trailers. I didn't really understand what the point of it would be. It didn't look fun to me, but some people decided to give Lord of the Rings Gollum a chance. It went disastrously bad. It looked terrible. It played terrible. Bugs all around. A stupid story, and it got blasted by almost everyone. And it ended with the developer shutting down, or with the studio shutting down that developer that did it. Lord of the Rings Gollum developer to close after disastrous launch. Daedalic cancels a second Lord of the Rings game in development. Look at these ratings. A 34 from the critics, which is basically like a 0. A 1.2. Overwhelming dislike from the audience. Bad on both PlayStation and on PC. Well, things get worse because in the aftermath of this disastrous launch for Lord of the Rings Gollum, they decided to issue a big apology and tell fans we're really sorry. Sincerely, from the bottom of our hearts, we apologize that all this went so wrong. But as it turns out, that was a fake apology too. Lord of the Rings Gollum apology was reportedly written by ChatGPT. Merely a day after it launched, Daedalic Entertainment issued an apology on Twitter citing the game's severe technical problems. Daedalic stressed they were committed to releasing patches so players could enjoy the game to its fullest potential. Of course, then they shut down the studio. Now, former Daedalic staff members have come forward for the first time, claiming AI software actually generated the apology and claimed the team making the game was set up to fail. Look at this shit. This got 3.3 million views. The fact that they used ChatGPT to write an apology. And if you remember, Jeremy, in the first paragraph, they misspelled the title of the game.
Lord of the Ring.
The Lord of Ring. Not even the Lord of the Ring. The Lord of Ring. Missed an entire word and missed a pluralization. Gollum. At least I got the trademark there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
How embarrassing is this? And also, how many of these stock corporate apologies, whether it's from celebrities or athletes or studios or whatever, do you think are actually written by AI?
I think there's probably a lot, actually. And I mean, AI, dude, AI is terrifying. Like, did you see the Mr. Beast video that was going around? Did you hear about that? There's a Mr. Beast 100% AI video that had like 40 million views where he was talking about giving away, like, I think iPhones or something like that. And people just bought into it. They just thought it's because it's terrifying. And so with this AI chat GPT, is that what it's called? Like, this is creating so much like havoc out there and misinformation. I hate using the term misinformation, but there's this fake news. We'll call it fake news. And I would imagine there's a lot of these celebrities that utilize this because they don't even care. They don't believe anything they say, but I'm sure that they use a lot of this. But
it's like Ja Morant, right? When Ja Morant got caught with a gun for the second time in an Instagram video, we're talking about an NBA basketball player who's getting some heat. He put out this statement that just sounded like it was written by AI. And I think it probably was. And I think a lot of these people do this. Maybe you should have, done something better than just a chat GPT, because obviously it couldn't even spell shit right. But it just shows they don't mean anything. These companies, these gaming companies specifically, they know their shit's bad when they put it out. It's not like they don't know that this game was a disaster. It's not like they had no idea about the technical problems and all this stuff, just like Cyberpunk when it came out, just like all these things we've seen that are broken at launch. They knew these things were problems, but they put it out anyway and then pretend to do this sincere apology that they let people down. You knew they were letting them down, but you did it anyway.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And to me, this is perfect. To find out that this apology was written by AI, and it's kind of a perfect end to a disaster of a story. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't expect anything less from this. So what's the latest on this? Are we getting another one? Are they going to try to work on another one, or
no? They even canceled a second Lord of the Rings game they had in development. Or do you mean an apology?
No. Another game.
No, it's done. It's fucking over. But now a lot of the people, some who lost their jobs or who are getting, they're calling out the studio. They're like, they gave us a really small budget. They didn't give us enough time. They didn't even tell us they were putting this AI statement out, all of this shit. And it's just, it's another embarrassing story in the saga of Lord of the Rings Gollum, apparently.
I love it.
Gary played that game.
Yeah, Gary and Az played it. I think Mahler played it too.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, there's like a fake MCU fan. It's really bad. Like it just shows you how good MCU fan is at being triggered by everything. His fake MCU fan it's about as pathetic as the Gollum game. It's really bad. Like it's bad. It's come on, bro. You're not even halfway as good as MCU fan.
You gotta try
Jeez.
harder.
Yeah, it's really bad. Really bad. Oh
You gotta
well.
try
I guess
harder.
I guess, it is what it is. It's almost bad enough to like ban this weirdo. Like it's that bad. It's pathetic.
Garfield's Bizarre Adventure for $5. What makes more money, the Marvels or Caramel Brown and the 7 Portland Hipsters? That's a good question. I think the target for both would probably be around 400 million, like where I'm expecting some of the shit. So I don't know. We got a long way, and we have a lot more for Rachel Zegler to speak on before Snow White comes out. There's no way that's coming out in March of this year or whatever, or March of 24. That's probably going to get moved back because they still have to do reshoots once the actor strike ends. So I imagine it's going to be a while. It might be next winter before we see that thing. And that's going to give Rachel Zegler ample opportunity to put her foot in her mouth a lot.
I thought she got fired, Ryan. That's what Inside the Magic told me.
Yes, officially, Disney announced Rachel Zegler fired. Official statement Inside the Magic. Boney Joseph for 100 yen or something. With the lack of fantasy movies, do you feel HBO should start making Game of Thrones movies with their renewed interest in the franchise after House of the Dragon? I think they should only make one Game of Thrones thing at a time, personally. And I don't know what you would do with a Game of Thrones movie if you're just talking about a little moment from Game of Thrones history or something. Right now, in development for Game of Thrones, they have the Jon Snow show, which I might have as little interest in that as anything.
Is
They
Kit
have also
Harington
got,
going to be in that?
yeah.
Oh,
They've also got the Dunkin' Eggs show that they're going to do. That's a story that is not finished yet, although I'm more interested in that than a Jon Snow show. And then obviously House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon, I don't know if they've officially decided if they're going to go 3 or 4 seasons on that. That's not something that can run for 8. That's something that makes sense to just do 3 or 4. We'll see where they leave it at season 2. I think where they leave it at season 2 will give us a good idea whether they plan on going 3 or 4, but I think 4 would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I mean, regardless if I'm interested or not, I think I'm glad people are liking House of the Dragon. I mean, the Game of Thrones universe is such an amazing universe. It's so sad what happened to Game of Thrones. But I agree with Ryan, though. If you do have something good, focus on that. Don't try to create 2 and 3. And like, this is where Marvel and Star Wars has kind of lost it. Like, these things, when they're special, it's an event when something comes out, or it's an event when there's an episode of this show that's operating on that level. When you start adding more and more and more to it based on the success, you're watering it down and it becomes irrelevant and no one really cares. That's what MCU's done. That's what Star Wars has done. And Game of Thrones has already had their screw up and they've kind of recovered from that. They don't need to do it again.
Yeah. Well, like their screw up was they fucking the people in charge didn't want to make it as long as they should have. They wanted to move on to something else, and they ran out of books to adapt, right? They ran out of story to adapt, and they couldn't fucking do it themselves. It was miserably bad.
Yep.
But House of the Dragon, we're going to get the next one in the middle of 2024. We'll see how long it'll be before season 3 comes out after that. But yeah, don't overwhelm people. Give them enough to keep them intrigued and make them want more, but don't fucking overload them with, oh, we need a Game of Thrones show every 6 months to premiere. We don't need that fucking shit.
Yep.
And also House of the Dragon it's a perfect thing to adapt because 1, the story is all written. It's actually finished. You don't have to wait for George to fight for his fat ass to finish a book or a story like you do with Game of Thrones or with Dunkin' Egg. But also, it's not a 500-page, explicitly lined out, these are all the things that happen, and you're trying to adapt that. It's a framework of things that happened over a several-year period. It's a Cliff Notes version of history told from 3 very different and unreliable sources. So you have a lot of room to make changes that maybe people weren't expecting. You have room to show people what really happened and do these make these different connections and show people what they didn't know before, even if you're familiar with the source material, as opposed to changing something that people already know what happened. There's a big difference between those things. So I think Fire and Blood is almost perfect to adapt. I don't know if Gary feels the same way in the chat, but he's fucking behind. So.
He's behind, but this is why we were late today. Gary specifically was involved in the start of the show today, so that's why. Right there. There you go.
Tobias Nexus for 5. The best part of Gollum was watching Gary and Tear of Grace playing through it. Watching the actual game world fail to load and the AI fall through it. Gary probably wouldn't even understood how bad the game was.
No.
Like he wouldn't have understood that it was just a poorly fucking optimized game.
It took Gary, we played Among Us with Gary years ago on premium. It took him almost the entire stream. Like the last 10 minutes, he finally learned how to kill someone, which is a simple button.
He killed me, I think.
We need to play Among Us again. We definitely need to do that.
Steiner Math for 5. Jeremy, how's everything after being bobbited by a xenomorph? Were they able to reattach it, or you decide to go full transition? Go C-cup if you do.
Nah, I'm rolling with it. I'm taking full advantage of my newfound gender.
The Wolf from Heart for 199. Lord of the Ring is now takeover. Lord of Ring is now takeover. Taker for 5. You guys had such a hard time getting started this morning. I thought you'd brought the Dallas Cowboys onto the G&G team. But the Cowboys got fucking steamrolled last night.
You know what? We need to talk about Bill Belichick, but we can't do it here. I wish I'm joining the sports.
You see him? There's a shot of him at McDonald's after they lost.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He was in his suit and everything.
That's funny.
Stopped at McDonald's after getting blown the fuck out.
I was right. It was Brady the whole fucking time.
Well, that they got to do something. Like Mac Jones is looking really fucking bad, but I don't know. I don't know what you do to fix it. I guess you could trade for Kirk Cousins. Vault 95 Survivor for $1. We want Jeremy back on F&T. Hashtag Jeremy did nothing wrong, I think.
People act like I've been removed.
Pretty much. I want to talk about the Marvels, though, Jeremy, because the Marvels, to me, it's pretty clear that it's going to be a fucking massive bomb. It's going to be a massive flop. But there might be something in there that pisses off the core MCU fan base. And at this point in time, I think we all know the core MCU fan base is just cringe weirdos with flags in their bios and pronouns in their bios and all this shit. Well, that audience is probably not going to lead to box office success to begin with, but they may end up pissing off the few people they have left with something they've decided to do and confirmed in a recent trailer for the Marvels. That's this. Captain Marvel's new boyfriend in the MCU just got confirmed.
Oh my God.
And not just boyfriend, but in all likelihood, husband, by the way. And we'll get into why that might be a problem for these MCU freaks.
Are you jealous, Ryan?
I'm not jealous. I'm good. I know it's just a movie. So it's okay. The Marvels footage shows Carol paired with Prince Jan. A new, albeit grainy look at the Marvels was shared by ex-user WW Marvels. The footage originated from a promo for the film that was shown in theaters prior to the feature presentation. Here she is holding hands with probably her husband. At the 118 mark, Captain Marvel is shown walking hand in hand with Prince Jan. The scene then cuts to Monica delivering a one-word line. Princess. The implication here is that Danvers is Jan's girlfriend or wife. However, it's very much worth noting there's quite a strong desire from many fans for Carol to be a lesbian in the MCU. Speculation, as well as leaks and rumors, have pointed to Jan and Carol's relationship actually simply being platonic. And the only reason Carol's recognized was due to a communication breakdown. And then this entire article gets into why the MCU fan base longs for Carol's queer status to be officially confirmed. And to be honest, this is true, right? This is from 2019. Fans call for Captain Marvel to be gay after noticing queer undertones because two women having a friendship means they have to be scissoring. Is Captain Marvel LGBTQ? A quick look at Carol Danvers in the MCU. They even had the director having to speak out on Carol Danvers' sexuality. You got people creating fan fiction. Just rewatch Captain Marvel, and I must say, Maria Rambeau and Carol have a pretty solid and stable lesbian relationship going on. MCU just doesn't have the guts to make it formal. Jeremy, what's going to happen when the core fan base for the MCU sees that Carol Danvers might have a husband? Are they going to abandon Brie Larson and Captain Marvel? That's what happens when I get you pander to these people.
That's exactly what happens, because these fucking freaks put these ideas out there, and when their ideas don't get realized, their weirdo fantasies don't get realized, they get really mad. It's the beauty of something like The Rise of Skywalker, and how the Rise of Skywalker alienated literally everybody, like everyone, because you had already alienated the hardcore fans. So then you were leaning into pandering to the social justice freaks out there. And then, of course, you found yourself in a bad spot. And by the time Rise of Skywalker got there, you pretty much pissed off everybody. And that's the same kind of situation the MCU is in right now, where you have decided that the real fans, the true fans, don't matter. So you've leaned into these weirdo freaks. And now you're going to start making decisions like this that these weirdos are 100% against, and they're going to take it personally. Like, this is a personal shot at them. When you make a decision by giving a woman a boyfriend or a husband, you are personally attacking these weirdos and their identity. That's how they're going to take it. So it seems like the MCU is heading right in that direction, and I, for one, love it.
Now, personally, I think that this is going to be, there is a storyline from Captain Marvel in the comics where Prince Yan is being forced to marry a woman that he doesn't want to. And basically a reversal of the typical masculine feminine bullshit, right? That this man's being forced to marry a woman he doesn't want to. Carol Danvers ends up fighting this woman for the right to marry him, and then she allows him the ability to marry whoever he wants for love. Cringe as fuck. Why this comic has failed time and time again. I think they're probably going to do something like that, where it's not like they're going to have an actual relationship. But if they don't explicitly make her a lesbian, there's going to be problems with this fucking fan base. That's just what they've done to themselves.
Yeah, and they deserve it. They deserve every single bit of it. And I can't wait to see them like crying and screaming on Twitter and thinking it's a personal attack on them. Funny how Brie Larson had that whole line, is this a personal attack? Yes, this will be a personal attack on you and your identity if she does not have a lesbian relationship. What the hell's wrong with these people, man? These people are fucking freaks, weirdos, psychopaths. They deserve
degenerates.
Yes.
My favorite one. The Exalted Patriarch, remember, for 4 months says Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, baby.
They beat Jimbo. Or wait, they played Jimbo? Yeah, they beat Jimbo this weekend.
Yep.
Shmoki for 149. Doesn't say anything. Well, no, it's hearts, actually. It's hearts. Thank you very much, Shmoki. I appreciate that. I saw over on Rumble, Mark Reality for $1. Off topic. This is off topic. What does Jeremy think of General Flynn for vice president under Trump? He was director of defense intelligence under Obama for 2 years.
I mean, I haven't really thought about General Flynn as VP, but
the only thing I remember General Flynn for is tweeting out a Dan Vask video.
But General Flynn obviously was thrown under the bus and everything, but I'm still on the Carrie Lake train. Carrie Lake hype train. She's got to be VP. That's my pick. But that's a Cobra Cast discussion.
Tobias Nexus for 2. They make us furs look sane by comparison. Bro, nobody can make a furry look sane, Tobias. Look at you. I don't know. Like, I assume this is like your fursona in the profile picture. But this is what you want to fuck. This is what you want to have sex with. I don't know.
Tobias. I got Tobias's back.
Better be careful. He's gonna get your back, Jeremy. You wear a fucking fur coat or something.
He said yes, it is.
Watching.
He confirmed it.
That's his fursona. That's right. So a fursona. This is Tobias's fursona, which is what he imagines himself as, and I believe that you want to have sexual intercourse with other different furries that are out there. You want them to fuck you as your fursona. I think that's how I can't think of much. I can't think of too many things more degenerate than that. But I'm glad Tobias is here. Glad Tobias is here. Um, Ryan, please stop. I don't want to learn new words. You're gonna learn today. I'm sorry. What can I do? Peter Hewitt for 2. Aren't you too sad that Swift wasn't at the Chiefs game? Yeah, it's so sad that Taylor Swift didn't make it. Travis Kelce got injured. He could have used her support there, but he was able to come back in the second half. But all the Chiefs are going to be. Everyone's going to say that the refs are just cheating for the Chiefs from now on. Every single fucking call that's missed is just going to be blown up all over social media. They already had a lot of people rooting against them because they've been good for several years and they won the Super Bowl. It's next level now because people are so sick and tired of Taylor Swift.
It's really bad. I hate it. I hate it so much. God, I hate it. But I get it, but I still hate it.
Ryan knows too much about furries. Is he a furry in a closet? No, I know about furries because I know about like degenerate people on the internet. And like I used to be very deep in this like rabbit hole of internet fucking lolcows, basically. And there's a lot of things to laugh at when it comes to the furry community. A lot of things that'll make your skin crawl with how disgusting it is. But,
Ryan knows a lot about the
I happen to just remember everything I hear, so that's also a problem. I can't get it out of my head.
It is weird. Ryan has this memory that just he remembers every little detail of things. It's kind of fucking autistic.
A little bit. Taker for $5. You guys hear about the arrest of the suspected killer of Tupac? Police confiscated a Pokeball USB drive while searching his wife's home. Ryan did it. What? I didn't hear that part.
Just ask
you think that guy did it, Jeremy?
No, I think Suge Knight had something to do. I mean, he may have, but I still think Suge Knight.
Didn't Suge Knight says that guy had nothing to do with it? Didn't he say that?
Yes.
He came out and said that, I think. He's like, they got the wrong guy.
I think Suge Knight knows or had some involvement for sure.
Axel Jessen for
and I apologize in advance for saying that, Suge. If you ever get out, I don't want you to come kill me. So
Axel
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Suge, okay? Suge Knight's awesome.
For $5. It's been a long weekend. Feels good to hang with the boys on Monday morning. Tropical news. There you go. Just relax. Just relax, Axel. Tomac for 20. So Ryan, with your hatred of furries, how would you rank Futa? I like that's a fucking like Nick Rekieta brought that shit into existence, I think. I think he popularized that in our world. So fucking shame on him for that. Piece of shit. But no, it's disgusting and degenerate as well. Thank you, Tomac. Bill Prime Gaming for 5. Jeremy's a king and Ryan's a prince. Hell 199. I'm insulted by that. And I'm triggered by your
Bill
picture
Prime.
too.
What's up, Bill Prime?
Thank you, Bill Prime.
Hail 199.
And we're all caught up at this point in time. Mark Reality for $2. As you guys saying the Chiefs are hated as much as the New England Patriots or the Denver Broncos. I was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri area. They've and have been a fan since they were terrible. Well, right now they're more hated because they're good, right? When you're a team that's been good, when you're a team that's won a couple Super Bowls, the Broncos haven't won shit in a while.
Patriots
they've been miserable.
Heyday,
the
Patriots were hated more than the Chiefs are right now, I think.
Well, they won more. They won 6 fucking titles. So
yeah,
of course people are gonna hate him. And then with the whole, all the Deflate Gate and the fucking film and all that shit comes out, it gives people more reason to hate him.
Yeah.
Desirius for go ahead.
No, I was just saying back then I think the hate was bigger for the Patriots, but now currently Chiefs by far.
Ryan, when talking about not being a furry, maybe you shouldn't mention how deep in a rabbit hole you were. Yeah, that's true. That's poor phrasing.
That is poor phrasing. But
yes, if you want to know about like laughable shit on the internet, the Down the Rabbit Hole series is pretty good. That was a pretty good one. Go check that out.
But we do have Mario Kart tonight after I get my microphone situation fixed, whenever that's going to be. But yeah, it just was for some reason my Rodecaster was not connecting today. I could see the audio levels moving on the Rodecaster, but it wasn't translating to the computer. I don't know what the issue was, so it won't take long. I'll get it fixed. But anyway, Ryan, what do you got going on?
Nothing. More videos.
More
That's all I
videos.
do.
That's all you do. Well, we're going to have more videos on this channel very soon. Finally, it will be happening. It's been a long time coming, but we are finally going to be starting to make more videos. Um, let's see. Wait, Jeremy, is it Tupac with the number 2 or Tupac? I mean, I personally always used TUPAC. But the abbreviated version more for his like rap name, so it's either or. Whatever works for you. Whatever works.
It's
All good. But
ambiguous.
we got Mario Kart tonight. Can't wait to play some Mario Kart. I'm working on this is on Krista's setup. So if there's an issue with the microphone, it's Krista's microphone, not mine. My microphone is awesome. Beardo's mic is shitty, but my mic is awesome. Play single player games, Jeremy. That has been discussed in terms of you know how like PewDiePie used to do the single player games and then have like a super edit of like 10 to 15 minutes? That's definitely something I'm going to be working on as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Couple more chats here. Kaylin Blackwell for 2. Hey Ryan, seen any good animes lately? No. Axel Jessen for 199. It wasn't Suge night, it was Ryan. Shout out Suge. It wasn't me. I don't think I was old enough. When did Tupac die?
Tupac died in 96.
97 or some shit?
96. September of 96, if I'm not mistaken.
I wasn't even 10 years old. It wasn't me.
Tupac got, I think, you can fact check me, chat, if you want. Tupac got shot on September 6th or 7th. And he died on September 13th of 96, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, dang. I didn't know it took that long for him to die.
Yeah, he was in the hospital for several days. So,
yep. No wonder there's a lot of suspicious theories then about like him not being dead.
Well, I mean, he got shot. So this is the second time he was shot multiple times. So he was shot in New York, I think 7 or 8 times years prior before he went to prison. He got shot up big time in New York, and there was a lot of speculation that Puff Daddy and Biggie were behind that. And then he went to prison for years. Then he came out. He was part of Death Row Records. Suge Knight kind of brought him into the fold, really elevated him. Tupac blew up. And then there was speculation that Tupac wanted to leave Death Row Records. And he was trashing like Jay-Z. He was trashing Dre. He was trashing a lot of people on a lot of his album. And September 7th, I believe, is when it was. Guy, got shot up again in Vegas, and everybody was expecting him to walk out like he did. Because basically, when he got shot in New York, I can't remember how many times he got shot. I think it was like 7 or 8 times. He basically walked out. He walked out of the hospital because he still went to court like a few days later after getting shot for his court case. So yeah, that's why there was a lot of speculation.
Desirius with a gift membership. Thank you. Pilgrim Media for 2. I was on the strip the night Tupac was shot.
Really? That's crazy. Right after a Mike Tyson fight.
Jay's saggy orangutan titties for 199. GG, Jeremy.
GG.
He's a Texas A&M fan.
Roll Tide, baby.
He's got that. Jay's saggy orangutan titties has a Texas A&M.
It was a good. I wasn't able to watch the whole game because I was on G&G Tabletop. I got to see the fourth quarter, but it looked like it was a really competitive game. I got to see the fourth quarter, and that's all.
There you go. And also, we should give it, before we end, we shout out to Meta PCs. Stormtrooper is now wearing the Meta PCs hat. Figured that was appropriate. Couldn't see it as well as the Darth Vader one. I've got a hat I need to give to Jeremy at some point, too, now that he's back in town. So shout out to them. Use Geeks or 199 for a discount. I think they got some deals going on where you can get some stuff if you order in October while supplies last as well. Trick or treat, promotion, something like that. So check out Meta PCs. We appreciate the hell out of them.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, we're going to call it. So thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week and see you tonight on Mario Kart.
Bye, guys.